to another episode of Desire to Inspire, your mama's favorite podcast. My neck's feeling a little heavy, brother.
Mine too, man. We got some hardware on, baby.
We've talked about it, you've heard about it, and we fucking completed it.
Heard about it a lot. Yeah. It's kind of crazy it's already over, huh?
Yeah. That, you look back and it goes by pretty quick, but when you're going through it, it feels like forever.
The race feels like forever, or the training block felt like forever?
During the training, it just felt like, fuck, it's still not here. It's still not here. Yeah. Oh, we got 2 more months. Oh, God, we have another month and a half. And it just felt like it took a while for it to get here until it transitioned to like, oh, shit, it's almost here.
Yeah. So this is obviously going to be a marathon recap episode. We've been building up to this for a while now. I think that we should go about it, though, in like detail our journeys separately, like not like jump back and forth between them.
Okay.
Like whether that's the journey of the training block or of race day itself.
Cool.
I think we should kind of isolate them. So would you like to go first or second here?
Let me go second.
Okay. I will. Man, I don't know if I was ready to jump in right now, but I'll just fucking get it done, right?
Only way.
So I just was asking you, like, did you mean like the race or training felt like it was like, oh, well, I'm in it? Mm-hmm. Because for me, this was probably the best I've ever felt on a race day. Like during the race, everything about it. I'll open up by saying I achieved my goal. I set out to do a sub 330. I ended with a 324.49, which I'm honestly super fucking pumped about, dude. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and act like I'm not. I'm so excited.
That was very impressive. I was watching you live on my phone, tracking you since you sent us your location, because the bibs that they had were off based off of the map that they had on their site. And so I was tracking you, and I just kept looking out of my peripherals at that clock, and I was like, no fucking way.
Oh, like you could see me like coming up around the corner?
Like it would just like your blob would be here, and then a little bit later it's here, a little bit later it's here, and I'm like, oh shit, it said like a 6-minute or 11-minute car ride, 6-minute car ride. And so you could see how fast that time was dropping. So as we were looking at that, I was watching that clock that was at the finish line, and I was like, damn, he's going to fucking kill this.
Yeah. I'll say at mile 17, I knew I had it.
Really?
Yeah. Like there was something critical would have had to happen for me to miss it. I was at a pace where I could have went 10-minute miles for the last 9 and made it. And at that point, I was like, you're good. But the block leading up to race day was challenging as fuck, man. The last 6 weeks have been very mentally challenging just because this wasn't like I just wanted to finish the race. Like, I really wanted this fucking time. Like, bad. And not only that, I kept saying run your own race, but I also really wanted to beat Tone. I did not want to get beat on his first outing. Although his first outing is hella impressive. Tone got a 3:28. So he's literally 4 minutes almost to the second behind me.
Insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Also very impressive. But like in my head, I was like, all right. But I started out the day, woke up, it was chilly, but I was up early. I ate a bagel and I took the dog for a walk, and I came back and I debated, do I want to eat eggs? I'm like, I don't think eggs are going to sit right now. I drank a coffee early as hell in the morning. Like 4 o'clock, before I even let the dog out, I started the coffee because I was like, I need this to go ASAP. That was the only thing that didn't go right on race day was I could not shit before I left the house.
The worst. The one
came
thing
back
we
from
said
the
we
walk.
love doing.
I know. And I was like, don't eat eggs. Eat another bagel. And I was like, I looked at it. I'm like, that's like 112 grams of carbs right here. And I have 2 scoops of GNM, so I'm at 150 before I even left the house.
Damn.
And I was like, fuck it. Just do it. So I did it. I got there. Walking up, the shit hit me. I was like, no way, dude. This is beautiful. Shit in a porta potty. And then like me, Tone, and Justin were like just getting ready to, like, we were dropping off our stuff, all this. And me and Tone were talking about how realistically we're like, we want to run the same pace. We're probably going to end up being together at some point. And we were laughing. We're like, what it's going to come down to is like, we're going to turn that corner and we're going to both just be at a dead sprint because we don't want to come in second. Like, we're going to like be supporting each other the whole way, and then we're just going to gun it and just see whatever happens. That's not at all what happened. The crowd was insane. Couldn't even like get to the starting point of like your pacer that you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen, I don't know if it was just this many more people than I've really experienced, because like My first one was big as well, but it was a wider starting area. It was an open street. It wasn't like fenced off like that.
Yep.
So there's just more room to fit. And this one's like you're corralled in this fence with all the half marathon, all the marathon. I'm like,
there was over 4,200 people in that area.
Yeah, like I'm like, I don't know where we're at. We're like trying to push back to our paces and we can't. So
and like when he says trying to push back, like you literally could not. Like nobody was moving. We were like a herd of cattle waiting to go through the chute to be able to just start the race.
It's amazing no one got trampled.
Yeah. 1,000%.
But so they call it, everyone goes off at once, and I know that sure, like the gun time is like as soon as they start the thing, but I know my chip time is what really matters. So I'm like, it doesn't really matter when I cross that. So I just kind of hung back for a minute, let it thin out, and then once I got up there, I was like, I need to get around these people. So I just hit the edge and I just took off. And next thing I know, I'm running like a 7:20 first mile, and I'm like just right next to the 3:15 pacer. And I'm like, you feel kind of good. Maybe you should just stay here. And so that's what I did. I never was with anyone else. I ran a long time with the 3:15 pacer. And I actually got ahead of them for like 3 miles. So everything was going well. I had on a long sleeve, and I knew I needed to ditch this long sleeve at some point. So we had a group of people there supporting who said they would be somewhere between mile 6 and 7. So at mile 5, I don't know if you remember this, there's like a hill.
Oh, I remember.
Like a quarter-mile hill.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, well, when you hit 5.5, just take this off so you're ready wherever they're at. And so I'm trying to be strategic here. I get to the top of the hill. I'm like, thank God. But I'm still with the 3:15 pace group somehow. And so I take out my headphones, put them in this hand. I take my hat off and I put it in my mouth. And I work this arm out. And I'm like trying to get this thing off like in the most effective way without having to slow down. And as I get the whole thing off somehow, I lose a headphone. At like mile 5.5, I'm like, fuck. And there was this split second in my head where I thought about, do I stop and grab that? And I said, fuck it.
Dedication, baby.
And as I'm like putting my other one in, I hear, oh my God, he dropped the headphone. And I didn't even want to respond to him. I was like, you don't have time for this. Like, you literally don't have time to react to anything. Like, I was trying to make up every second that I could because I was still uncertain with how this knee was going to hold up overall. I'd only done like this strong tape that I had on one other run before this. So I don't know how I'm going to react.
And how long was that run?
10.
10? Okay.
And it didn't come off, but it pulled off super easy afterwards. So like it was probably loose.
Yep.
So I said, fuck the headphone. And about a half mile later, I hear, hey, dude, you lose something? A spectator picked up my headphone and sprinted at a 7:11 was that mile pace to bring me this headphone. I was like, whoa. I was like, look, I was just going to leave it, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So she's just, she's just running with you as you're
just
running.
Sprinting like through the crowd, bro. like passing people up. She's like, dude.
Hey.
Just hands me my headphone.
When they say that not all heroes wear capes, that is a scenario where not all heroes
I
wear
don't
capes.
know if I would have been able to go on the way that I went on if I didn't have both my headphones.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I blocked out a lot with headphones.
Yep. I mean, you can even tell that in the videos of you running when our group that was cheering us on when they were recording, you were in a fucking zone.
Dude, I didn't
and there
even
was
see them at that
getting
point.
You out of it.
Yeah, so the first one, I'm looking for them heavy. Like that's what I'm coming up on right now. And I found him like a mile later, and I passed the 3:15 pacer because I just want to give him this and keep moving. And I was just going to slow back down and get back in a rhythm. And he was like, just drop it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just run it to him. And so I was actually fucking around. I did like this little fucking juke move and tossed it to him. And then like that little speed and seeing them, like I was just like in a zone. Like I was at a burst of speed. And not only this is where I feel fucked up, man. Because in my head I was like, when Tone passes, they're gonna be like, oh dude, he's flying. I was like, they're gonna tell him that I'm moving right now. And I was counting on it. I was like, Nikki might not because she doesn't want to know, but Matt's gonna talk shit. I was like, someone's gonna tell him Dylan's already been here like 10 minutes ago. And he was realistically probably like a minute behind me.
Yep.
Like he probably wasn't behind me far at all. But in my head, I was like, dude, they're about to fucking drop the hammer on this guy.
Yep.
And so I was gone. And for like the next 3 miles, I was ahead of the 3:15 pacer. And they only got ahead of me like on a hill. And we ended up running the entire first half together.
Damn.
When I made like that turn, like where it branches off, like half goes this way, full goes this way. In my head, I was like, dude, it feels like you just started running. Like at that moment, I was like, I feel fresh. I was like, this is a brand new race. Like I was like, I've never felt this way. Like it felt otherworldly. It didn't feel like I just run 13 miles.
Oh my God.
I've never experienced this like on any run. Now I don't know if this is like my first ever runner's high, but it was just like, I don't even know like how to put it into words the way that I felt as I made that turn.
I'm just thinking, and I'll elaborate. I know we're not going to go back and forth, but how I felt at that branch,
okay.
which is totally opposite.
Yeah, yours is like coming up on the end. But yeah, so I make the turn. I stick with the 3:15 for like another 4 miles, and they just slowly start to pull away. I'm like, that's fine. Like, you're fine. You're holding pace. Every mile up until that point was under 8 minutes.
Was that pacer getting people like amped up at every single mile?
There was like no talking or anything.
Oh, really?
He was just running. There was 2 of them.
Damn.
So like they would hand off, and like one of them would go up. He had like a GoPro on, like he would like point you the right direction, make sure everybody's going the right way.
Okay.
But like it wasn't like, yeah.
They didn't say like mile 14. Woo.
See, they might have, but I had headphones in.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was in the zone.
Yep. Oh, put a video up during this. Make a little pause.
This is right where I'm about to get. So at 17, I fell away from this pacer, and I passed them at like 18, I believe it was. But I didn't even see the group until like literally they were like where you're at. I was like, oh shit.
Damn.
And so like then I just like kind of threw them like a wave, but like it didn't even click like, oh, this is where they're gonna be. Like I was just focused, and I knew that this was I anticipated this being the hard part. I was like 18 to 22 is where the wheels usually fall off. Just dial it in, maintain pace. And I was really like in my head like, just maintain this pace. Like you have a lot of extra minutes right now that you're fine. Just don't even worry about it. Just hold where you're at and worry about it later. So as fast as you can go, just keep going. And at so it's like at 18 goes out and it goes around and then like comes back the same way.
Okay.
And so at this point, there was probably like maybe a quarter mile where you would pass other people who are going the same way, like they're coming up behind you a couple miles, like maybe 2 miles behind.
Were there people already passing that spot when you were on 18 that were already coming? What does that do to you mentally? Anything?
I didn't care about that because like I knew that there was going to be people under 3 hours. There's going to be people at like 2. So like I knew there was people there. And I know that's not me.
Yep.
That's not who I am as a runner right now. I know I got nothing on that. I was focused on 3:30.
All right, cool.
But when I came back, I wanted, in my head, I wanted to see Tone. I was like, if you see him, that means he's 2 miles behind you, and he's either going to have to pick it up because he wants to catch you, or it's going to completely demoralize him.
Hey, Tone, you were living rent-free in his head, brother. Good job.
Dude, no. Hey, I think it was like helping me get through it, honestly.
That's good.
Like, I just wanted to see him be like, keep moving. But when I didn't see him, like, he's on your ass. Like, so then it was the other way.
Okay.
When I didn't see him, I'm like, he's within a mile and a half of you right now.
That's wild. That's so crazy that you guys didn't see each other once up until the end.
Yeah,
after the finish
I saw
line.
him cross.
Yeah.
That was it. And so I knew at that point I'm like a mile and a half in. And I was like, there's no way he passed you and you didn't see him, right? I'm like, there's literally no way. And when I passed the group again, I'm like, nope. And so after I passed the group, you turned down like a side street and it was pretty dead. Like there wasn't a lot of people around me at this point. And I definitely have not told you this part yet. I was literally saving it for this. I was running and I got real like, I don't know the word for it, but it was like, I felt like I was outside of my body kind of just like watching myself run. And it was very strange, but like I was like, this is like bigger than you right now. Like you're not the one doing this. I was like, there's no way like you were just injured for 6 weeks. Like there's no reason you should be able to do this right now. Dude, I started crying. literally on the course, dude, just started crying. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, whoa, this is kind of weird. But like in my head, I was like, this is way bigger than you. Like you could not do this by yourself. Like this literally makes no sense. Like I was still feeling good. I was like, you made it through like what should be the wall. And now like you're literally, I was like, you have 11-minute miles if you wanted to.
Do you remember what you were thinking about during that time? Besides like you've made it through the wall and stuff, like were you reflecting back on that training of that block where you were injured to
I literally, like, I don't even feel like I was thinking at the moment. Like, this all, like, came to me kind of afterwards. I literally just felt like I was just watching myself run for, like, a mile.
Damn.
And that's when I was crying. It was like I was just crying and watching myself run. And I was like, whoa. It wasn't like I was sobbing, but, like, there was, like, tears in my eyes. Like, there's some falling off my face.
Damn.
And I was like, whoa, this is fucking crazy, dude. And so I get past there. I go to 24. And 24 to 26 was the bitch this year. That was what really tested me this year.
Yep.
It was all uphill, man. Like, I'm talking non-stop. I think I walked 2 hills for maybe 30 to 45 seconds. And it was just to the point where it was like, your quads feel like they're about to explode.
Fuck yes.
If you don't walk, like, I was like, you're not going to walk much slower than you're running right now. Just do it. But after about 30 seconds, I was like, Tone's going to pass you. I'd pick it back up. And I'd start going again. But yeah, once I made it to, like, the starting point, I was like, yes. And as I wanted to pick it up, but I didn't have anything in the tank. I did not have it to give. So I made the turn. And you guys saw me just casually just kept on. What's crazy is, like, it feels casual, but it was like an 8:15 pace.
Y'all, we were standing there. So I'm not getting into my story yet, but we were standing there because we had already finished.
This is part of mine anyway. So go ahead.
We were waiting for everybody that was doing the full to get done. And so we see that Dylan's, like, ahead of everybody. The group came back and was like, Dylan's ahead of them. He's killing it right now. So they're back. Everybody's back together. And so Dylan's coming up after he makes this last right turn where everybody's cheering.
It's not a short straightaway though, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, even people that were crawling the last mile got up and started sprinting through that finish line. There was a wiener dog that sprinted through that finish line. And Dylan just comes and he's just do. And then insert right here Dylan's finish photo.
Dude, just it looks like I just put this together today. It looks like someone shot me, bro. Yes. And I'm, like, falling backwards. What's insane is that there was one video. So you guys were all where you were.
Yeah.
And then one person went over here and took a video from the other side of the finish line. Meant to take a video. She took a 1-second video. So that's a screen grab of she said, I got click happy. And so she got 1 second. I feel like if there was a full video, it would have been good. But the craziest part is that exact screen grab is the exact picture that they got from another angle, dude. I'm like, how is this even possible? But to go with this casual, which also isn't casual at 8:15. Like,
it was casual compared to what everybody was doing.
But my goal was 3:30. At one point, I thought there was a potential 3:20, and that's what you kept saying.
Yep.
And at that point, I would have been sprinting.
Yep.
Because I was about to point at you and be like, this is for you, and just keep fucking going. But once I saw it was like 3:24 up there, I'm like, you got 3:30. Just fucking mail it in, dude.
Was that what was going through your head, or were you just like, this is almost over, I'm just going to coast in there, or was it still just
No,
blank?
that was the same pace I was for the whole last mile. I was like, let's just get it done, man. And yeah, across the finish line. And what's crazy is by the time I got over to you guys, I felt fine again.
That's crazy.
Like, I walked, my quads were obviously sore. Like, there was soreness, but, like, I didn't feel like, dude, when I crossed the Austin finish line, Nick Bear gave me a hug, put the medal on. I almost walked away from him, like, without even realizing I needed to get my medal.
Damn.
Just put the medal on, and I literally went and collapsed on the ground for 10 minutes.
What was different from this race, training, mindset, vision versus that one that you did last time? Because you cut an hour plus off of your time, correct?
No. So since my last one, I cut 30 minutes almost exactly off.
Okay.
Which is still a fuck ton.
Yeah.
That's over a minute per mile.
And the last one was 2 years ago? Last year?
Last January, so almost 2 years.
Damn, that's crazy. So what was different about this one than that one?
I think this one, I felt the pain early, and so I knew what to do to try to mitigate it, where that one I got hurt in the race.
Yeah.
I had never had any pain up until the race, so it came out of nowhere, and then it was just, I fought through it for 6 miles,
which
worsened it, and then I was out of running for like a month after the race. So this one, I was glad that it happened beforehand, and there will be a newsletter about this tomorrow, so before this comes out. But, yeah, I think it was just the whole fact of getting hurt during the race as opposed to in training.
Yep.
And now I'll tell you this, I ain't getting hurt again. I will not get hurt again.
In a race or like in general?
Like in
just
training.
Because you're smarter and know to...
I'm everything that I did like to rehab, I'm just going to do proactively now.
Yep.
And I know that I knew even going into this, I should be stretching and doing mobility more. But it's one of those things where, like, until it happens to you, it's easy to blow it off.
Oh, 100%.
I take this off, bro. It's sweating my stomach. Literally, my stomach is sweating where this thing's sitting.
Jesus. I feel like this is one of the cooler days that we've had in here.
Yeah, it is. It was literally just resting on my stomach, just sweating me to death. But yeah, man, that was my experience.
Yeah, I got to say hats off to you, man. I mean, seeing you, Tone, and Sal, which kudos to all of those guys. Kudos to everybody.
Literally everybody.
Every single person beat the time that they had set for themselves. And each one of us took something away that we've shared with each other, whether we realize it or not, to like just motivate us, inspire us, to be like, good fucking job to everybody. It's wild to see people's different training methods and mindsets and how they correlate to actual race day. And it just like puts it into perspective that like people are so different. And
there's
like,
no one way to get this shit done.
There's no one way to get shit done. And that's not only for this race, but that's in life. And so you look at some people in life and you're like, God, how does it come so easy to them? Or even like in school, like, how does this come so easy to them? I don't get what the fuck this is saying. Like, it's gibberish to me. Thinking of like calculus or something like that. Some people are like, oh, A+ on test, A+. And then others are struggling. Or some people go to race day and they don't train as much as another person. And it's like, oh, it comes easy to me. But like, there's always a struggle. There's always a point of like, I want to give up during that. And I think we all had that at a different stage. And not saying give up to the point where we would actually make it happen, but in our head, like, fuck, like, why am I doing this? Or is this what I should be doing?
Bro, my mental was wrecked when I kept cutting those long runs short.
Yeah.
I literally the week leading up to race day, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this race. I knew I wasn't going to drop it, which you kind of asked me about. And I was like, I wasn't ever going to drop it to a half, but I was worried I would not finish. That I would have to like get carted off the course.
I can't lie. I was asked, who's your money on? I said in the beginning.
Damn, bro.
I said in the beginning, it was Dylan. At the end, it was Tone.
You'd have lost money, dude.
I would have lost it all. Not saying that I didn't think that you guys could both achieve
sub 330.
Sub 330. I knew that you guys could. That wasn't the question. Who was going to cross the finish line first? I thought it was going to be Tone. But again, I think that's just because my mind was so blown on like how much he dedicates to this sport and like how much he actually genuinely loves it. And two, I mean, naturally, you were hurt the last 6 weeks of training. So, like, you didn't have as many long runs as Tone. So I was like, Tone's got this in the bag.
I honestly think that it could have went either way. It was all about who got in front of who first.
Yeah.
And I didn't sprint ahead in hopes of getting ahead of him because I genuinely told him, like, let's try to stay together for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or, like, I just assumed that we would get together at some point.
Yep.
But, like, once I got around, I was just in a groove that I was like, I can't slow down now. And he even said, he was like, dude, I just like, it didn't matter. Like, our paces could have been the same at one point, and there was just no catching. Like, it was just done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
because 4 minutes, sure, it's a lot over the course of that, but it's still only half a mile. And,
yeah.
like, in reality, like, what we were running average-wise, it was less than half a mile. So he was within probably, at any given point, a half mile to a mile tops. Like, there could be points where he was closer than that.
We should do this for everyone. I mean, I know Justin would, but like have screenshots sent and like put your splits up, put Tone splits up, even Sal's if he wants to send them, because I think it'll be excuse me. I think it'll be cool for people to see that, and like now that we're talking about it, they can look at how close your guys' shit was, because I was looking at Tone splits as well, and you showed me a screenshot of yours, and like, I mean, you really can't tell a difference. So, like, that's how minuscule, like you said, that 4 minutes really is. In real time, and that's why, like a lot.
Before we started, when you were like, oh, 3:20, I'm like, dude, that's so much more than you think it is.
Yeah, because that would be
another 5 minutes off of my time.
Yeah. That's wild. Mm-hmm. But I do still think that you guys both have it in you. And I think that this race proved that you guys could maybe if...
Oh, no, I think that this race proved to me that I could... if I train hard enough, because let's be real, like there's a lot of factors that were in this training block that if they were cut out, what could have been? Like, let's just say we even drank half of the amount that we did. How much better would we have been on a race day?
Yeah.
Let's say that we didn't go as hard we did the week before. How much better would we have been on race day?
Yep. When people are visiting and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely am interested to see what sparks this, because I was thinking about, like, how is he so fucking good at this, but when it was back to, what was it, Ironman?
Ironman.
And I was thinking, like, why is he so good at this, but the Ironman he didn't like fulfill? And again, it's not me like throwing a dig, but I think that there has to be that passion and that light at the end of a tunnel when you're training for something.
I can tell you
that's
exactly
hard.
what it was. It was taking away my love for running. Like, I was dreading running because I didn't enjoy the other shit.
Yeah.
I hated going to the pool, and it wasn't weather where I could bike outside. I was hating riding inside. And it
Yep.
was just like, it was so many hours of a week spent
Dude.
training that, like, then by the time I got to run, I'm like, I don't even want to do this either.
Yeah.
And it was just mentally exhausting me.
I was reflecting back on those like snaps, like, because I can just vividly remember you sending the snaps and you sending like your calories burned and the amount of exercise you were doing and all that shit. I'm like, these things are really lifestyles. And why I think I was thinking about this is because even though I did cross country back in the day, I never took it serious at all. But like this community, this environment, this like people live, breathe, and die like doing marathons and like participating in the events or being a part of the running community. And I just have never really seen this world for what it is. And so I think I got that appreciation before, during, and after the race of like why people can get or how people can get attached to it or find a love for it. Because like I told you probably 30 times throughout this training, while we're on trails, out at the park, while we're there, while anywhere, the running community is such a nice, wholesome community.
You don't ever see somebody angry on the trail.
No.
Like, no one's an asshole on the trail.
Everybody's lifting you up. Everybody's saying hi. Everybody's saying good morning. Everybody's just waving, giving a nod. And again, you'll have those people that are in the zone, but they're in their zone for a reason because they're training for something. But I think that's what this did for me is it opened my eyes. And that's why I love doing the Spartan races, the power lifts, like all these different things, because it opens your eyes to be able to like talk on these experiences and even like think of, the people that say, because again, just like the Spartan race, 90% of the people I told I was running a half marathon, they're like, good luck, but can't catch me doing that. Good luck, but I'll never do it. And it's because people are scared to like, using a BPN thing, but like to go one more, to do something hard and to like capitalize on it and stick to it.
It's the commitment it's that time commitment. This isn't just something you can do for a month and be ready for it. Like this is weeks and weeks of like consistency in training.
Yep.
And it's more than that. You gotta be able to rest and recover. You gotta be able to eat right. Sure, I drank, but like even that, like if you're not used to, like I was already training before this. It's not like I just jumped up off the couch from doing nothing. Like people's entire lifestyle would have to change, and that commitment is what makes them say that type of stuff.
But I will wholeheartedly, on everything I believe, that if somebody does stick to it and somebody does follow through and do it, they will find a different purpose or a different fuel light to life and to like challenging themselves.
I don't know if anyone can accomplish something like that and go back, just immediately go right back to the way they were living before.
Nope.
I don't think it's possible.
At all. It teaches you so much about yourself. It teaches you so much about the discipline. It teaches you so much about mindset. It teaches you so much about like, even how you talk to yourself. Which I'm glad we can't, but if you could record the thoughts and the things that I was saying to myself in the beginning of training.
Oh, I think, man, the race went for it.
No, versus the end of training, it is drastically different. And I think the only way to be able to see that is the screenshots I sent you of my races or my runs in July versus my last run 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. Like that speaks volumes to like how you could tell I was feeling. But like up here, those numbers would have been way worse if it was a number that we were using to like register it. But yeah, I mean, it gave me a different sense of just not only wanting to try new things, but like pushing the limits within that as well.
This race in particular for me is like the first time since probably my first race that like opened up my mind to like, oh, you've got a lot more in you.
Dang.
Like this is the first time in a long time that I was like, oh, you got a lot in there, dude. Like my whole goal was like 8 minute miles. And that was what was in my head, 8 minute. And like to see so many of them under 8, like low 7s. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
You
so
only had a handful?
I think I had
8?
4 or 5 over 8.
That's crazy. That's wild. It's exciting though, because again, whether it is another race or whether it is something like you seeing that is going to fuel you to do whatever you do next.
Oh, we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay. But yeah, no. Hats off to you. Hats off to Tone. Hats off to Sal, because again, not only did they complete it, but everybody beat the times that they wanted to. And special shout out to Sal because that man is a magician. It was insane. He started training later than all of us.
Dude probably did 20 training runs, drank the night before, and still ran a 3:44 his first time ever.
He's a different beast. Yeah, 8:44.39 or something like that.
Yeah. Let's hear about the half, dude.
The half. It was a love-hate relationship because one thing that I will say is I didn't train for hills. And this race had nothing but fucking hills.
See, I didn't feel like it was that hilly because of the amount of hills that we had to do.
Oh.
Like, none of them were as steep as the ones that we had to do.
None of them were as steep, but I think that was worse because they were just gradual and they just kept an incline pace. And, dude, my quads were on fire. Mile 6, I wanted to quit. Mile 10, I wanted to quit and just throw in the rag. Done. But starting back, so we get to the morning of the race, wake up super early, have my routine, have everything laid out, have all of what I want to do set. The only thing that we didn't have set that we thought we did was the transportation, but it honestly worked out better.
It did. It worked out so much better.
Yeah. So wake up in the morning, do my routine, journal, eat my breakfast, which I could not eat eggs or anything like that. So definitely had some G1M. I had a protein bar. I had, what else did I have? A cup of coffee and maybe a piece of toast. I can't remember. And all I wanted, I don't think I did, but I might have had a piece of toast. All I wanted to do was use the restroom. That was the main goal. And I was like, this is going to be exactly like the Spartan race where I can't do it the morning of, and we're going to get there and I'm going to have to shit in a porta potty that 90,000 other people have already done that in. So let's fast forward because we don't need to talk about my bowel movements. Getting dressed, getting ready to leave still hasn't happened. As soon as we step foot out of this apartment complex to walk to the car, I'm like, it's here. And they're like, just go back in. And I was like, no, I don't want to be late. I don't want to rush. I didn't. We get there, and the line for the porta potties, bro, are from one end of the park to the other end. And they are not moving fast. And now we have...
Where we parked was clutch then because there was no line.
These were like the main ones that were in that area where like afterwards everyone went and hung out. But we get there, we stand in line, and by the time we get up to the porta pots, we got like 8 minutes before we have to be at the starting line.
Oh shit.
So we're waiting, and then this one guy comes out of the porta pot and he goes, I got to get back in line. They didn't have paper in the other one. And I was just like, oh, okay. Didn't think of it.
You went in there with no paper?
No, he took a shit in that one, and there wasn't no toilet paper, so he had to pull his pants up, come out, and then he got back in line in front of us so he could go and wipe his ass in another porta potty. I was like, that cannot be me. Kind of terrified me, so I got in the porta potty, didn't have toilet paper, just took a piss, went to the starting line, and that's why we were like there within 5 minutes.
You didn't shit?
Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah, felt it all the way through like mile 4, but
whoa,
we kept going. So
this was the only race I didn't go to the bathroom at all. I didn't pee.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I've never had that happen before.
Really? Mm-hmm. What do? You usually veer off and
just run in a porta potty real fast and come right back.
Oh wow.
There was multiple along the thing. You didn't see them?
No, I did. I also saw one guy just go like right past the sidewalk and.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I was like, all right, dude. But we're at the starting line now, meet up with all you guys, and I thought it was hilarious. As I was running, I was thinking about this. We were like, we're not going to start by each other. We're not going to run with each other. We want to do our own thing. And we all started together at the finish line.
We didn't have a choice.
No, we didn't because we could not get through. And then Justin and I stayed together. So we take off, and the twins always have a hot start to their runs. They're the type of people that'll roll out of bed, drink a little bit of coffee, go down, and just start running. Start really fast and then gradually like get slower. That's how they have been since I've known them. And so I was like, I'm not going to keep up with them. Just do your own thing. Stay at like a 9-minute pace for the first 2 and then pick it up. Well, we were at about like an 8:30 pace, but the night before, I always say my prayers before I go to bed every single night, talk to my pops. And I was just talking to him the night before, and I don't really like talking about my prayers, but I was like letting him know like, hey, tomorrow's race day, blah, blah, blah. Really excited, like blessed to be able to like do this and make it through training, all this stuff. Come by if you want to. And the people that follow us and that know, like the crow is the sign for my dad, my grandpa, like my family on my dad's side, the guys that have passed away. ever since my grandfather passed away, there's always been a crow, and then my uncle did, then there was 2 crows, and then my other uncle 3. And so it's just like a very weird coincidence, but we take that as a sign like they're with us, they're here. And now we're up to like 5 or 6 crows in the family, which really sucks, but it is what it is. And so I was telling Pops, like, come by if you want to. So we're at the starting line, and we take off, and we're rounding that first corner. We hit that stretch, and then we're making that first left onto that next street. And as we're making it, there's this huge tree, like right on the corner of where we're coming. Dude, I'm not joking you. Fucking 6 crows just come, get in the tree. And as Justin and I are running under the tree, they just start going crazy. All caw, 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 going nuts. And then we get past the tree, and it like stops. And I was like, no fucking way. I was like, dude, I had like goosebumps all down my body.
Did you bring it up to Justin?
Yeah. And he's like, dude, that's really wild. He's like, as soon as we went under, as soon as we left, like they were done. And I was like, I had chills all over my body. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I got this. I got this. I appreciate it, Pops. Thank you. Like, I know you're here. And throughout the whole race, I seen every so often, like just one crow, like going from telephone pole to telephone pole. And I was like, all right, no matter how hard it gets or whatever, like you got this, stick to it. Like you've trained too long to throw in the towel. And mile 6 had a very steep incline. Mile 10 had a very like, not steep, but like gradual incline for a while. And Justin was killing it. Honestly, without him, I probably would have slowed down at a couple of points. And I think vice versa, where if I would have not been there, he would have slowed down. But I just kept looking over, and he's right next to me, and we're going. And every single time we hit a mile, we give each other a fist bump. And so we're running this race, and at like mile 5, before that 6 incline is a water station. Just had passed that water station, and same thing. I thought Matt was going to be at mile 6, so I was like, let me take my shit off, give it to him, because I started heating up. Let me tell you, when I took that thing off, it was fucking cold,
Immediately, bro.
Immediately. Like, I had steam coming out of my breath that I didn't have there when I had the long sleeve on. And so as we were running, this guy comes up next to me. He goes, what inspires you? Or why are you inspired? How did he say it? What inspires you? And I looked at him, I go, life. And he just kind of looks at me. I was like, making the most out of the little moments and like living each day to the fullest or something like that. He was like, dude, fuck yeah. He's like, where are you from? And I was like, Cleveland. And we're talking back and forth as we're running. And I like pointed at my shirt at one point in the conversation. He like had said something or like, what keeps you going, or how do you keep the attitude or something like that. I was like, desire to inspire, baby, bringing mental and physical health together and making an impact, this and that. And he was like, dude, hell yeah. Gave me a fist bump. He was like, you inspired me. He's like, man, finish this race strong. He's like, good luck, good job, keep it going. And he just put his headphone in and started like cruising again.
Dusting you?
No, he didn't. He was with me for a while. But it was like super cool because we all had those shirts made, and during the Spartan race, it was the same thing. People were interacting. They were asking like, you know, what is it? What does it stand for? People were asking about it. And every single time is like a great reaction from people, which gives me that like satisfaction. Like, okay, you guys are where you are at right now because you're meant to be here. Don't fucking stop. Keep pushing and keep building it at the pace that you guys want to build it at, and it will succeed. But I also realized that like during that point is if I want it as bad as I want, if I want DTI as bad, or if we want DTI as bad as we wanted to finish that race in our times, we could be 30 times bigger than what we are. Yeah. And we could have X, we could have Y, we could have Z. And during that race, I realized that if I give the time and attention to the things I want in life, no matter whether it's DTI, relationship, family, friends, to start something new, to go after a project, to go after a career change, like whatever it is, if I want something in life, I have to give it that same amount of effort as I gave this training. And I'm not saying I gave my all for this training. I know that there's areas that I can improve. I know that there's areas that I can get better. But what I did was I was consistent. I didn't stop when it got fucking hard, and I kept pushing through it. And I went to people that knew about this field, knew about this industry, knew about this training to be able to better me and make me be able to cross that finish line in a time that I wanted to. That was you. That was Tone. That was the internet. That was Nick Bear's podcast. That was the twins. That was all of these people giving me advice and tips on how to nutrition wise, how to get better, how to fuel better, how to stretch better, how to get knee pain away. Like even random people on TikTok that don't even know they help me. They fucking help me because I researched it and found videos. And so from like me to you is I hope that this race not only keeps us moving in a physical attribute to start dialing in different areas that we want to do or achieve or conquer next, but in life overall, because I think and I know that not only it being us two, but everybody in our lives, we can all put more time and attention on the things that we truly want or the things that we think about. And completing this race is one of those things that made me realize, like, dude, it's just waiting on you. When you give it the time and attention, when you give it your all, when you give it, it will happen. I can achieve anything that I fucking put my mind to.
Yeah.
And that race taught me something, or that race taught me that. I knew it because I graduated college. I knew it because I moved away from my hometown. I knew it because of the friends that I've met. I knew it because of the friends I still have in my life. I knew it from losing my dad. I knew it from losing family members. I knew it from things I went through growing up from family members, that I can get through anything, that I can conquer anything. And this race really gave me that extra vantage point or a different vantage point that I didn't have about myself, that I now have to be able to be like, okay, if there's anything in life that you want, you've never once let yourself fail. If you have failed, you've learned from it and you ended up achieving whatever said thing was. And I'm going to try and take this and roll with this mindset, with this attitude that I learned during this race, because I always tell you, if I don't take something away from it, or if we don't take away something from these things that we're working towards, that we struggle, that we all this different things, and we're not doing anything. Like, what is the purpose or what's the why of doing this if we don't look at the bigger picture at the end of it? And the bigger picture for the Spartan race was the person in the wheelchair, was the kids that were doing it, was elderly people. And that's the same thing for this race. The bigger thing was the elderly people crossing that finish line, the pain that we went through during training, that we fought through, that we made better because we changed our ways, our habits, the friend groups that we have that pushed us to be able to achieve all of these things. So it was just really cool and something that I've been reflecting on. And I hope that if you haven't looked at it from that vantage point, and you don't have to comment if you have or haven't right now, but you take the time to look at it and see, okay, I took a lot out. We heard a lot of things that you took out that were great and very instrumental. But like, how can I take that and apply that to different areas in my life? And I just think it's important and that I share that because I'm taking a lot away from it that I didn't know I would.
Yeah.
And a big thank you has to go to you for even like inspiring me when we were sitting at Sycamore to be like, come on, bro, do it. You can do this with us. Do this marathon. I'm not doing a marathon. All right, just do a half. Bet. And I shook all your guys' hands, and there was more times that I wanted to back out than there were that I wanted to stay in.
I actually don't even think I was there when you made the deal.
Oh, we texted you or called you.
Yeah, I think everybody hit me up and was like, yo, Freddie just committed.
Yeah. And then you texted me on the side, like, heard you committed or signed up or whatever, you're going to sign up. And so that's what it was. Shook all their hands. You texted me, and it was like, look, I said I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it. I always talk about doing hard things. We always talk about doing hard things. We always talk about getting out of your comfort zone. We always talk about how the pain is this. We always talk about how you learn something through adversity. We always talk about how if you stay committed and through the habits, you build new things. Who am I to back out on that when I'm pushing all of this stuff to these people that listen to us, that we care about, that we drive to be like, oh, it wasn't for me. I felt some pain in my knees, so I just backed out. Fuck that.
That was a big reason that there was never the thought never crossed my mind, just do a half. Like you said, you were going to do a full. I would have rather went out and physically been unable to complete the full and know that I fucking gave it everything I had than to say, fuck it, I'm going to just play it safe and do a half.
Yep.
Because I knew I could do a half.
Yeah.
And there's, like, what would I really have taken away from that?
Yep. Yeah, especially because you've already done fulls before.
Yeah.
And so it just, I think anybody who is going after a race, if they haven't done a half marathon, and again, I haven't done a full, so I can't speak to it, but like, start with a half marathon and then go to a full, because the training programs are drastically different.
Well, if you've never done a half,
yeah,
you'd probably start earlier than even 4 months.
Yeah, 100%. So that was kind of, as I'm getting now, we talked about the crows, we talked about the guy on the trail, and then as we're coming back around where it split, I was like, thank God I don't have to go to the right and I get to go to the left, which that was the split for the half and full marathon. And it was so cool because at mile like 11,
I wish there was a way to tell when you guys crossed the finish line where I was.
Oh yeah.
Like, I wish that there was a way, like, how far ahead was I actually? Like, I just want to know, like, it perspective-wise, like, where was I on the course when you guys finished?
Yeah.
Because there was times where I would look, and it was, like, at, like, 1:59, I'm like, they got to be done. But I don't remember the mile, but I remember thinking, like, they got to be done by now.
Yep. Yeah, that would be interesting. I guess we could look back at our time slips and just add it
Yeah,
up.
that's true.
So after 10, we're coming down that long stretch that we make that last big loop before we get to that split off point, and I go, Jay, I was like, there's the twins. He goes, no way. He's like, do we sprint up to them? And I was like, I was like, every lion stalks its prey. I said, let's use them as a little motivation to keep pushing, to keep up the speed, because they weren't that far ahead of us.
Yeah.
And so we complete the street that you pass, like Flower Child and Condados and all of that, and we take that right. So we get there, we pass that first block, and we pass that busy street, and we're over towards where you would make that last right. And we're just gaining. He's like, do we catch up to him? I was like, yep. So we round that corner, and Justin gets up to him.
I would have tried to burn him. I think I would have tried to just put it on and not even say anything, just keep going.
Justin asked if we should do that, and I was like, no, fuck it, let's just finish together, because I almost know, I don't know if I ever or if I did ask them, but I almost for certain knew in my head that they
told Justin they did not want you to beat them.
Yeah. Oh, and I know that they didn't think that we were that close to them. And so again, they start off hot, so they got out way ahead. We stayed consistent, and it balanced out, and we caught up to
Tortoise in the hair, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And so we get up to him, and I wish we could have had a camera on Amanda's face when she saw Justin. She like did a double take, like looks next, like, why is this guy so close to me? And I was like, and then Lo looks over like, and so I know it's in all of our heads, like, do we speed up? Do we not? Do we speed up? Do we not? And so we stuck together, and at that split off, we kept going. Ran that last little one before that right to the finish line. And so in my head, we're all stuck together still. And it's like, let's pick it up a little bit. We all picked it up a little bit. And we're going down that main stretch. And I'm looking around, like, soaking it in. I see the time ahead of me. I'm like, dude, we fucking beat their time. Let's go. And next thing you know, as I'm soaking it in and looking around, which you didn't do, I look ahead, and those three are at a dead fucking sprint to the finish line.
I couldn't have looked around, or I would have cried again.
They were at a dead sprint, bro. And I'm like, what the? So you just see me like chugging behind them. And they say they beat me, but it was literally like seconds. I don't. When you look at the time, it's still 1:51.
Well, we could put up the video showing where you were completely shocked that they sped up.
Yeah, the video is hilarious. I look like I'm in slow motion, like, no.
I was looking around. I was looking specifically for you guys, though.
No, you weren't. I have a video of you.
I know, but I was just scanning. Because I saw you guys at the finish. Like, I saw exactly where you guys were. So that was my whole focus, like, coming out of the thing was, where are they at? Like, they got to be here by now.
Yeah. And so I'm looking up, and I see the time, and it was like, as we rounded it, it was 1:50, 20 or something like that. And I was like, dude, fuck yes. Our time that we wanted to beat, for those that don't know or don't remember, was 2 hours. Like, that was mine and Justin's goal, is complete under 2 hours, we'll be happy. My stretch goal was 1:52. And
I don't know the seconds, but I know it was 1:52 something.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on there. It doesn't look like
I still have it hanging on my wall. But 1:52, and I think 1:54 was Tone's first half. And we completed ours in an hour and 51 minutes. And so, again, we all completed ours in or under the time that we wanted to. And it just felt so good. But I will tell you, after I crossed the finish line, there's a couple pictures of me like, fuck yeah, like cheering.
Dude, your pictures look so good across the finish line compared to the rest of us.
They do look pretty fire.
Me and Amanda were talking about it today. We all look like shit.
But that video doesn't do me a justice compared to what I look like at the finish line.
Yeah, true. That's why I wish, like, there was a video at the finish line.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Which I have a second long one. That's about it.
I have one, but it's just from the backside of you. Yeah. I'll send it to you. But we crossed it, and I immediately, like, had to drop down because I, like, was full body shake for a second. Had to, like, collect myself. I was like, whew.
That was me in the last one.
And I looked up, and I see, like, Matt and Sarah, like, fuck yeah, good job, blah, blah, blah. And they had that bell. I don't know if you rung it, but rung the bell. We took some pictures, and it's wild. Lo told me afterwards, she goes, like, congrats, like, extremely proud of you. She was like, honestly, never thought that I would run a half marathon with you because, again, how much I hated it. Yeah. I think anybody that knew me would bet against that I would actually do a half marathon. But she was like, and to be completely honest, she's like, I knew you had that goal in mind, and I know like your ambition and stuff would make you fight to like get that. She was like, but I did not think that you were going to achieve the like 8:30 or under to be able to get below a hour and 52. And so it just like made me feel good because again, like it wasn't only me seeing the accomplishments, but like even the text messages and
everybody
people,
did.
yeah,
Like we all saw it for everybody. I feel like it's 151 is impressive as fuck for your first one.
I'll take it.
Especially like what do we have, a 16-week training block, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. And too, like that first month and a half, like if you look at those runs collectively, it'd be like, oh my God, this guy will be lucky to finish under 2:30.
Your knee was hurting, so you weren't running that much either.
Hardly. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad in the beginning, but again,
This was collectively the roughest training block I've ever seen from a group of people.
yeah, I think everybody got
Damn near everyone was injured at one point or another.
Yep. Justin fell the last run of the training
Literally
block.
the day before the race, dude. Don't stop. Like, no fucking way that just happened. It was hard.
Yep. So it was inspirational. It was
man.
moving, and
I'm still riding a high 3 days later.
yeah, no, and I hope you continue to ride it until you find out what you want to do next or what you want to tackle, or even like just going into the fucking holidays and making the most with your family. Like whatever it is, like we can take this high and ride it into whatever area of life we want next to help fuel and motivate.
No, I'm ready to run this weekend.
Oh, you're crazy. The girls tried to run today.
I think I'm going to run Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, no.
Probably Saturday.
Satan.
I feel good, man. My quads are a little sore, but literally that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be mad at that. And also, I think I already know what I want to do next.
We'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
Not on this one, because that can be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, because I technically have two things that I'm debating. So, on a caveat, though, I feel good, but not a 30 for 30 good.
Okay.
I don't think I have 30 in me. My toenail looks like it's going to fall off at any second. It's completely purple.
The last thing I will say is my shoulder was oddly sore that like evening.
I showed you my armpits, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like they're getting worse by the day.
Like this shoulder, you would have thought I had like surgery or broke it or something. Like I had to take medicine. I don't ever take medicine.
You should put tape on that. Like after the fact.
I didn't know. I never felt it throughout the training or anything.
No, I mean
like
even like once you felt it, you probably could have put it on.
Oh yeah. It was weird. My shoulder, my left one, and then the top of my right foot hurt the worst. And then like for a day and a half after, like just sitting and standing, I was like, ooh. But kudos to those people that go and do this multiple times a year, if not like weekly or daily. Like there's some crazy people out there that do these daily or whatever. No.
Yeah.
I know that this did not make me into a runner like some people had hoped it might. But what it did do is...
I didn't hope. I just didn't know if it would or not.
No,
I don't want to force you into doing anything you don't want to do.
It did open my eyes on probably continuing
some kind of running.
Yeah, incorporate some sort of miles in my life. I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm not going to think about that for the next like 2 weeks. But we're excited to get back in the gym, start lifting fucking weights and being a little sore from that.
Been in the last 2 days already, man. Feels good.
Oh, it feels great. Feels great. The last 2 days workouts. I got one more here, and then I go home for my bro's wedding, which can get congratulations, an early congratulations to the Millers. Super excited to get this man married and celebrate him this weekend.
What if he gets left at the altar now and this ages horribly?
I'm still proud of you. So that's all I got, man. I'm going to let you wrap up this podcast because I think you can do a good summary to send us off.
I don't usually do summaries. I don't know, man. Everything that could have went right for this race went right. And I've never experienced that before. And like you said, I feel like it could transfer over into life. It's literally about like the shit that you put into it. But I also think it's way bigger than just yourself. Like whether that's a team, whether that's you did your prayer beforehand. I was praying during. Like, not even like a praying, like, get me through this. It was like, thank you for fucking allowing me to be able to do this right now. Like, never thought this was possible. So, whatever it is, the conditions can always be right. And it's always bigger than yourself, man. Like, you can't do anything alone. Literally, I ran the race alone, but I did not reach that goal by myself. There's a whole team of people behind me. So surround yourself with good people. Put in the work. Tell your mom we love her. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, on.
Peace.